Hello, welcome back to another book video. You're probably wondering, Erin, in your first vlog, you said you were done doing these. Well, I'm not. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing me. Sorry about that. That was my landlord. Anyways, it's okay. We're back. So, like I said, I'm just gonna film whatever I feel like. I take where the wind takes me, you know? That's just my philosophy in all of this. Anyways, this week's video on books is ranking every single Emily Henry book that I own, which is only this. And honestly, shouldn't be 30 minutes. Sorry about that. I got a little carried away. With the last book review. So I'll be sure to make this quick. So to start off, in number 5, we have Book Lovers. Now, this might not be my most favorite book of hers, but it's still objectively a good book. So if you like that, good for you. Personally, for me, I just kind of thought it was boring. Honestly, like, it's about two people in the book publishing world. Anyways, so that's all I can remember, honestly. And that's quite sad, but I can't remember a whole lot, which in my opinion makes it not the most memorable for me. I do remember, like, it was good writing and the plot was objectively good, but like I said, there wasn't a whole lot of pizzazz. There wasn't really any anticipation with the two main characters getting together. Like, I didn't feel like, oh my god, are they gonna get together or not? Like, and obviously with all of these books, you know they're going to get together, but personally, it just didn't do much for me. And if that's your thing, snaps to you. But it really didn't do that much for me. So it's number 5. So in number 4, we have Funny Story. I actually had trouble ranking 3 and 4 just because both of them, there's a point in the story in which you're just kind of like, okay, it's stalling, there's a stall, and it's kind of hard to get through the stall because it's like, gosh, this like I can't keep reading like the same thing over and over again. Like, you need to move the story along. But ultimately, I put this as number 4 because, again, there wasn't a whole lot of like anticipation with like the two leads of the book getting together. I also thought the main female character was a little bit annoying in the sense of, you know, something tragic happens. Well, tragic is a bad word to describe it. She cancels off her engagement, let's say, and she just mopes around. And I get that. That's so relatable. Well, to some people that's relatable. But it got to a certain point for me where I was like, okay, let's like brush the dust off. Like, come on, let's go. Come on, let's go. So that's why I ranked it at number 4. If that even made any sense to anyone, I don't know. I think I'm just saying gibberish at this point. So at number 3, we have People We Meet on Vacation. And like I said earlier with Funny Story, there is a big lull in this book. It took me a fat minute to get through it just because it was like, there was a lot of repetitiveness. and eventually that gets old and is a little bit boring. But I ranked it at number 3 because I overall really liked the plot of this. I really liked the plot of 2 friends that go on a cheap vacation every year starting at college. Like, that's a really fun idea. And I really liked that concept of this book. And there was just more anticipation throughout the whole book because you don't know, like, the types of people they meet on vacation are just so interesting characters. And then I truly didn't know whether or not the 2 leads were going to actually end up together. And so once I passed that boring lull part of the book, I was really on the edge of my seat to see how they would end a book like this. Like, there was perfect conflict, perfect tension, and I think it was written beautifully. So that is why I put this at number 3 instead of Funny Story. At number 2, we have Funny Place, or Happy Place. I really liked the overall theme of this one. It really is about a couple that dated for a while, but then they broke up, and they have the same friend group. And the friend group doesn't know that they ended up breaking it all off, breaking up, but they all are reconnected during the summer at this like cabin in the woods for their friend's like wedding. And I just thought that idea was really fun. This is number 2 because it was not slow paced at all. It was very fast paced, very quick moving. I really liked the conflict, and I really liked how Emily portrayed conflicts between people in relationships, because it's not always as happy as it seems. And I just thought her portraying that was very well done and very relatable. And I also think it perfectly encapsulates the feeling of growing up, because you meet all of these characters when they're in college, and watching them move on with their lives and go into the adult world was written just very well, and I really liked it. As someone who's in college, it kind of just is a foreshadow of what life could be like once I graduate. And I thought this was a really well done, beautiful book. And coming in our number 1 spot, probably personally, this is my opinion, remember, this is my opinion. So in my opinion, my favorite book of hers is Beach Read. I loved this book a lot. I thought the concept was amazing. The concept is there are these 2 writers who live in the same like summer town for the summer, and they're both in writing slumps. And what they decide to get out of the slumps is switch genres. So we have one writer who is acclaimed in literary fiction, and then the other who really likes romance. And since they're both figuring out what to write, they end up swapping the genres. So the literary fiction guy has to write like a rom-com, and the rom-com writer has to write a literary fiction book. And at the end of the summer, they swap their books and read them and see who does the best. And I think that's just a really fun, lighthearted book, because the 2 main characters are polar opposites. The conflict was perfect. The banter was really well written, and I was just on the edge of my seat too, because both of these characters also have some stuff that they need to sort through with like their personal lives. And so seeing the conflict that they have within themselves as well, I really liked. I really like, honestly, seeing the main character suffer in a book. I don't know if that's a red flag. I don't think it is, but I really like when you see personal growth in a book and in a character, because I just think that's perfect to the human condition. You know, no one is perfect, we all have flaws, and when an author perfectly outlines those flaws in a non-obvious way and shows that personal growth instead of really telling it, I think it's really beautiful. And I think it's really beautiful to perfectly encapsulate the human condition in a book. And I think this book sort of does it. Obviously, there are more books out there that perfectly shows the human condition. I can do a whole other video on books that I think encapsulate the human condition. Video idea. But I just think in a lighthearted way, this book does that. Plus, I love a good banter. Like I said, the banter was awesome, and I love a good banter. And I was on the edge of my seat to see what happened. So yeah, that was this book video. I hope you enjoyed it. Much shorter than the last one. I kept my promise. Let me know what kind of videos you want to see me do for the next couple of weeks. I'd love to hear your insights. So yeah,